So, a far-left DA facing backlash over the fatal stabbing of a 41-year-old mom at a bus stop. As internal emails reveal, he was warned about the illegal migrant suspect, a violent offender with more than 30 prior arrests, but still released him before the crime. Back in November, police emailed, quote, "Mr. Jallo is one of the repeat and violent offenders we discussed. I wanted to get your background on why he's out so soon." Unfortunately, based on the numerous dealings with him, it is not a question of if, but rather when he will maliciously wound or worse again. Jonathan Fahey served as acting ICE director in President Trump's first term and joins us now. So you get this email where they lay it out. They warn them that this could possibly be the end result, but there's zero response.
Yeah, that email is really chilling when you see what happened just last week when this woman was brutally murdered in Fairfax. And a couple of things that stand out over the email. This email was sent by a high-level person in the police department. It was certainly intended to convey the fact that nothing had been done about this guy despite his numerous arrests, and the fact that they wanted something on record that they have been calling out to do something about this guy because he had 40 prior arrests, and he also had over 100 contacts with police department. He was known in an email in May of last year. They emailed the Commonwealth's attorney to say he's known to stab people. In August or July of that year, they sent a similar email saying, we want to go forward with the case even though we can't find the victim. And cases were repeatedly dismissed. And this is so horrible because it's entirely preventable. But what makes this even worse, this Commonwealth's attorney, this isn't like the first time something like this happened. Just in December of last year, an MS-13 member, murder charges were dropped against him. He was also an illegal alien. He was released back in the streets, not turned over to ICE. 3 days later, he was charged with murdering someone else. So this is a pattern and practice, and unfortunately and horrifically, people die because of bad policies, and this is a prosecutor that's more interested in pushing a progressive agenda,
100%.
a victim-first, criminal-last agenda.
Now, let me say something. Now, it's yes, they need to be arrested, but it's not just illegal immigrants. It is all criminals who do something crazy, and then you have these judges who either give them a small bond or let them either charges get dropped or something like that, or the sentence itself is so light to where they feel like doing it again, or they're going to do it again. We gotta be tough on crime. If we're not tough on crime, people will still commit them, and it won't send. We need to send fear in the criminals' minds, especially when these doing these violent, crazy crimes. We have to, or else we're just going to be in a society that just keeps letting the criminals go, and then we're going to be reactive instead of proactive. Let's keep going.
So this is what the prosecutor's office had to say, the district attorney. Abdul Jallo was known to our office, and we were acutely aware of the risk he posed to the community. Unfortunately, the defendant in this case also had a history of selecting victims with no fixed address. In multiple cases, we were unable to move forward with prosecution because victims could not be located or contacted. It is your job as a prosecutor to do the hard work. Go find them. You have a whole team of investigators. Sit on the location until they come out. This is such a terrible excuse, right?
Exactly. And if it was a one-time thing, fine. But this is a repeated practice of this happening. And if you just go back to July of last year, somebody tried to abduct a 3-year-old from a mall in Fairfax County. That person had 30 prior arrests, and over a dozen cases have been dismissed by the Commonwealth's attorney. So this was not a one-off. And again, you're right. When you have a motivated prosecutor or motivated detective, they can find people, and certainly you're not going to strike out 30 and 40 times in a row. So yeah, this is a horrific excuse. But if you look at his platform, it's all about putting the criminals first, victims last, not cooperating with ICE, things of that nature, and we have a dead woman that should be alive today because of these policies.
I want to see the record and the appeal made to the court, to the judge saying, this guy can't be out. Because that's what prosecutors do. When you have a violent offender, it's put an email of the police saying, look, this person's going to kill someone, in short. Where was the prosecutor going to the judge and say, this guy is a risk to society? He should not have bail. They should be remanded until we have a trial or we can locate the victims.
Well, that's another great point, because this prosecutor has a no cash bail rule, meaning he's routinely agreeing to let violent criminals out on jail. And so many of these offenses, he was out on bond for other offenses.
Crazy.
And it's just remarkable to me that nothing was done. The effort wasn't there. And you look at that email and it is almost like sort of a cry for help from the police to say, you need to do something or people will die, and instead they chose let people die rather than do something.
There needs to be some kind of punishment for the judges, for the prosecutors who are so adamant about the no cash bail, especially for violent offenders. Now, I understand if the crime is not violent or anything like that, and you get them a no cash bail, but if a violent offender who will most likely offend again, and you let them get out with a slap on the wrist bail? No, we need to have no bail for some of these people. Let's back it up a little bit. We're pretty much finished with this video. Let's back it up to the front where we go through his charges one time. So we got entered the U.S. illegally in 2012, convicted felon, now accused of murder, criminal history from 2014 to 2026. He was charged with second-degree murder, rape. He had a rape charge that was dropped, destruction of property, guilty, 3 times assault, guilty on 1 charge, 4 times malice wounding, guilty on 1 charge, 3 times trespassing, guilty on 1 charge, 2 times disorderly contact, guilty on 1 charge, 5 times larceny and theft, guilty on 1 charge. What is with them giving him 1 charge? 2 times drug offenses, guilty on 1 charge. This is someone who, we got to be honest, he should have been locked up. He should have been locked up before. But we have these policies that let these people out, and then are we surprised that they end up hurting someone else? No. It's only we just got to feel bad for the victims. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let's go over into this next video, see if they give us any more details.
Stop what you're doing and listen to this. A shocking new email revealing that Fairfax County, Virginia police gave a warning to the county prosecutor after the county released that guy, Abdul Jallo, an illegal immigrant who went on to allegedly fatally stab a 41-year-old woman at a bus stop. Quote from the email: Jallo is one of the repeat and violent offenders we discussed. I wanted to get your background on why he is out so soon and ask if his prior suspended sentence was pursued by your office. It is not a question of if, but rather when he will maliciously wound or worse again. And Jallo's rap sheet includes over 40 past charges ranging from rape to assault, with the Fairfax County head prosecutor, Steve Descano, dropping nearly every one. Former acting DHS Secretary Chad Wolf joins me now. And Chad, prosecutors literally could not have had any stronger warnings about this guy. But instead of him being behind bars for life, those prosecutors in Fairfax County dropped almost every charge. Why? Why would they do that, Chad?
Not even just being in jail for life. Why hasn't he been deported? Now, this is not one of the people who's been here for 40 years and is just done their job and came home to their family, took care of their family. No, this is a person who constantly breaking the law, constantly hurting people, constantly getting let go. Crazy.
Well, it's a great question. This is such a tragic incident that didn't need to occur. This individual should have been picked up by ICE, should have been removed from the country. But we see this time and time again, particularly in Virginia, particularly in Fairfax County. Last year, we had another illegal alien who was released. A criminal illegal alien was released and unfortunately killed another resident of Virginia the day after he was released. And so this continues to highlight, unfortunately, sanctuary cities and the policies and how they do everything but protect the citizens and the constituents of those jurisdictions that they claim to. And again, just a heartbreaking incident here. But this is why President Trump, this is why the Trump administration is so laser focused, as well as members of Congress, so laser focused on doing away with sanctuary cities. It does nothing to protect the American people that live in those jurisdictions. And unfortunately, Stephanie Minter, the woman who was stabbed to death, is the latest victim of that.
This is an absolute preventable tragedy. It shouldn't have happened. More attention needs to be paid to it. Quickly, before we let you go, House and Senate expected to take votes on DHS funding today. Votes expected to fail in the Senate.
Now that's the gist of that. Let's go over into the AI breakdown just to see if they tell us anything differently. Most likely they won't, but we got to look at it. We got to make sure we're doing our research. So as we know, the 32-year-old Sri Lankan, I'm not even gonna try to say it, is currently in custody and charged with second-degree murder for the fatal stabbing of 41-year-old Stephanie at the Fairfax County, Virginia bus stop, February 23rd, 2026. He is accused of attacking her shortly after both exited the bus on the Richmond Highway. He was arrested the following day, February 24th, after being recognized at the nearby business. Before the incident, he had more than 30 prior charges since he entered the U.S. illegally in 2012. His records include charges for rape, malice wounding, assault, and drug possession. U.S. Customs Enforcement, ICE, stated that he had been on the county's he has been in the country unlawfully since 2012 and was granted a final order of removal by a judge in 2020. ICE has lodged a detainer against him following his recent arrest. Internal emails revealed that the Fairfax County Police had reportedly warned prosecutors about him escalating violence in May of 2025. Police specifically warned that it was a matter of time, not if, he would maliciously wound someone again. The case has sparked political outrage, the case has sparked political debate between federal and state officials. DHS officials have criticized Virginia governor for policies that limit the local cooperation with ICE, while the governor's office maintains that the federal authorities should provide judicial warrants for such deportations. Why would you make it harder? I mean, I don't know the exact steps they have to go to. But if someone in my district or in my place that I am running is an illegal immigrant and he's committed so many crimes, he just committed a murder, why would I make it hard on here, come and pick him up now. Get him out of my city. But I guess they got a soft heart for criminals. And then he is currently held without bond. Good. Court documents indicate that he has previously been diagnosed with schizophrenia. We have to do better. We truly do. We have to do better for the people, for our neighbors. And it's not just, like I've said this before, it's not just illegal immigrants. We got to do better on the criminals who are homegrown, who are born in the United States. We can't have these slap on the wrist punishments for people who do these awful crimes. What is the world coming to, y'all? What is the world coming to? It's a crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. We got to do something. We have to.